What is going on, everybody? Welcome to Asset Based episode 16. Going to be joined today by Oliver Jones of Manifold. Happy to be back in our normal spot of noon central on Wednesdays and hope to continue this trend for another 6 to 12 uninterrupted months. Let's get right into today's show with Manifold, a better way to spot freight. What is going on, man?
Hey, Alex. That was quite the intro. I was very... I feel like I really want to watch you go do that race now.
Yeah. So the Macedonia trip trailer, that's our next big project, live film. We're dropping Friday, part 2 of Serbia. We have like 6 parts to our Serbia film, just too much content. But yeah, the 10K ran it with Boris Panov, had a blast. Macedonia was great, man.
Looks great. Love it. I will watch it.
Yeah, I can't wait to release it hopefully at the end of the month. But let's get right into it for those who might not have seen your first appearance on Asset Based. Tell us, how did you get started in logistics quickly?
Yeah. I'm an old Convoy alum. Started pretty early on the Convoy. That was where I got the bug. I said it before, I say it again. What really got me was all the brokers on the phone trying to make deals. I was like, I'm an engineer, so I'm going to a really quiet place, and everyone's like really loud. There's like rap music blaring, and everyone's on the phone, just like super high, hot vibes. And I was like, wow, this is like exciting. Normally, I'm just used to really quiet. So, anyways, worked there for 7 years, and then when they went bankrupt, I really still wanted to stay in the business. I love logistics, so I was like, let me go start my own thing. One of my learnings there was like helping people automate their spot bidding, and that's exactly what we're doing. So we go help carriers and brokers connect to all their spot opportunity sources, and then help them build automated bidding rules to go bid more efficiently and win more freight.
Yeah, of course. I mean, take us through, obviously, as somebody who might not have heard of Manifold, what type of integrations you guys offer? What is the easiest way to describe Manifold is that you put all the freight into one load board per se, your guys, program. Yeah. Just take maybe a new user through what type of freight they can put in there. Can they cram in their TMS, all this kind of stuff?
Yeah, it's a great question. The kind of the cool thing about us is we pretty much connect to anyone. And so let's say that you work with a couple, and I'm just gonna use big names right now just because everyone can know about it. But you work with C.H. Robinson and Echo, and you work with some like Procter & Gamble. I know those are all like just giant companies. What we do is we can directly connect to each one of those sources and bring that spot freight. But we also do with much smaller, brokerages, much smaller shippers. We also connect email as well. So if your emails come in, you get that translated into spot freight.
That was actually the one that I was about to mention to you too. You guys do rip off the emails when the emails come in. You're catching those. They're not just going to sit in some inbox where you don't even look at them for opportunities. So.
Exactly. So like email, and seriously, emails is ridiculous. Like the amount of emails that people that the logistics industry has to process through is preposterous. And so this is a great way to like take that out of the noise and make sure you get really good visibility on it.
Yeah, no, I've had that conversation a million times with a million people. You always tell a carrier or the carrier will tell the broker, hey, keep in touch. We run this lane, blah, blah, blah. They send a couple emails to each other. They don't connect right away on some freight, and that's it. And that's the end of the communication. It just dies right there. And then being able to catch the emails is massive.
It's not just about with email or any of this stuff. It's not just about in that moment of finding that spot for opportunity. It's the metrics. It's like, hey, I want to open a new lane. What freight is available, right? And with a solution like Manifold, you can go look back in time. You can be like, oh, here's all the brokers and all the shipper. If you're a carrier, here's all the brokers and shippers. Or we also work with brokers. Here's all the shippers that have sent me emails that I'm connected to their TMSs to get their direct spot freight. Here's all the freight that's available. Let me go come up with a strategy for that of how to.
Yeah, of course. Like I said, I've always been big on anyone that wants to sell me reducing my tabs needed to function in logistics. So Manifold checks that box.
You're too kind. Yeah.
Take us through sort of the process that Manifold aids in quoting on that spot freight. So once it aggregates all your stuff into this one place, what are the tools Manifold has to help you bid on it quicker and more efficiently?
Yeah, so you can do manual bidding. So with this, we have green screens built into the product, or you can go integrate your own pricing algorithm. will show you, you'll go click on a load. You might search for like a certain lane. You'll be presented with a bunch of spot opportunities. You click on a load and you can typically bid right through the platform right there. You say, here's my bid price. You can go take a look at the green screens or your own pricing to like gut check it. And then you just press submit the bid. Or you can go set up an automated bidding rule. And, the automated bidding rule is exactly what it sounds like. You say, hey, this lane or this KMA, we also have this way of describing KMAs, key market areas, which is like 3-digit zip codes, a group of 3-digit zip codes to another group of 3-digit zip codes or 2-digit or 5-digit.
Yeah, I mean, let's say you have a customer that sends you the same lane. Every Monday you get a Colorado to Chicago. Then you can just set up a tool to say, hey, every one of that lane just quote at this price.
Exactly. And then you can set up your pricing to be a little dynamic about it, right? So you don't get. We just got done with DOT week, right? Was that last week?
Yeah, like this week, last week. It's been a mix. They kind of did a longer one this time.
Okay. So this DOT week, you get that more dynamic price. You adjust for that.
No, yeah, of course. I mean, like if I was doing stuff like that, I would probably look at it every Friday or every Monday. I kind of adjust it from there. I mean, freight, especially this freight market, has just been sort of day by day.
Yes.
Come to work and hope that it's going to be the same as it was yesterday.
Yeah, no one knows.
Or hope it's better than it was yesterday, but that's a dream these days.
I think that's what we are all hoping. That is.
I mean, how do you guys see the market? What's your opinion, rough opinion on the 2025 market? I mean, we all were kind of looking for a change. I mean, flatbed's pumping really hard, but it's been somewhat the same, if not kind of on the decline. Tariffs have been fun to deal with. That's always fun.
Yeah, I remember someone saying that the freight recession was over in the end of last year. Maybe not. Actually, I no shade at them. It's really hard to predict these things, but I don't know.
I mean, how do you guys see, on the client side of things? Do you guys see people, wanting to jump into the tech, wanting to be more efficient and maybe pull in some more revenue, or do you see companies kind of saying, hey, the market's kind of tough, we can't spend anything? I mean, how is the sales side of things kind of looking?
It's definitely, people are kind of tough, but at the end of the day, if you have a good solution, people are going to buy, right? Because and I think it always comes down, it just makes things more clear. You can get away with things in a really good market where the ROI might be so a little fuzzy. And so people are like, I don't know what the hell, just go, send it.
Yeah, what's an extra 1% of my bottom line, like on this product or whatever it is.
Exactly. But now you really have to prove the ROI, which I think is a good thing. You can see it in like the amount of churn we've had. We've had no churn. So yes, it takes a lot longer to get that customer onboarded, and we've had to like offer, kind of some trial periods, like really try to show them, hey, here's what your return you're getting on. But once they see it, it becomes a no-brainer, right? Like, again, it doesn't actually really matter what the market's like. If we can say, you give us $1 and we're going to give you $5 back, always a good deal, right? That's literally like, so you just have to really prove it, right? That's all.
No, I mean, I think like you said, it is a good thing in a sense, right? Because I mean, we've hit monopolies in so many industries to the point where there's just one leader. They're not forced to do any innovation. They don't even have to deliver a decent product anymore.
Yeah.
Because nobody's competing with them. Nobody's forcing them to innovate. And I think for better or for worse, like you said, I mean, you have to deliver value and you have to deliver a product that obviously delivers an ROI and value. And I think it's kind of, you've seen a lot of the BS, for lack of a better word, just kind of disappear slowly. And like you said, it's tough, but it is a good thing.
Yeah. I mean, I don't like the freight recession, but I'm saying like you can see it in a positive way.
Yeah, I mean, everyone's doom and gloom. We want to look at it is what it is, right? Like, this is the market. We can't do much about it.
Yeah.
Obviously, we're all working towards a better market, but at least you got to see some of the positives, right? Like at least the tech people have to work harder and make better products.
Yeah. But it's pretty exciting. I think and we're really big believers in AI with our product and how we build our product and how we do it. And I think that's going to really benefit trucking companies and brokerages, right? Like I really do. I think there's going to be a huge influx massive efficiency gains, better margins for them through this technology. It may take a little while to take hold and for people to really understand how to leverage it best. But I'm just like such a huge believer in at this point, just seeing how we've been able to apply our existing technology and
let's kind of go through that topic.
Yeah.
Sorry, I keep muting myself. I'm still sick. I've been sick for 2 weeks.
Yeah.
This coughing just catches me at random moments. But let's go through the AI stuff. I mean, obviously, you don't have to disclose what you don't want to disclose, but what does AI mean at Manifold?
I think it means several things. Because I would say we are just like as a developer, a tech company is just, if not more, impacted by AI as a logistics company, right? And what I mean is, so AI means multiple things to us. AI has completely changed how we build and write code, right? AI has changed and how you design systems, right? You now have these things. And again, I remember my times at Convoy where we were pretty cutting edge in technology, and there's all these things that we just couldn't quite do very effectively without just out with the technology, the tools available at the time. And now with AI, I'm looking at several of the problems that we could have solved at Convoy, and where I'm like, holy crap, like I'm just going to go solve those problems, because we were right on the edge. We kind of very much understood the problems, but now we can actually go build solutions. So a great example where these two meet is when you're trying to go build automated bidding systems, a very important thing is the details, right, of what you're bidding on. That is extremely important, because you don't want to go bid on a reefer shipment, or you don't want to go bid on what you think is a dry van shipment, but really is a reefer. And you could barely tell it was a reefer because it had like FRZ in the comments somewhere that you don't a computer wouldn't normally check, but a human would probably notice. And so that's a great example where AI has really helped us out, is we can go feed in all these details into AI models, LLMs, and it catches that little text that says frozen or should be kept. Maybe it doesn't say frozen. It's like should be kept under -28 degrees, right?
Yeah, and you're like, you can give it alerts. You can make it actually pay attention to things.
Exactly. You correctly categorize that shipment, and then now when you go automatically bid on it, or you go present it to a user to go manually bid on, you're bidding on the right thing, and you can price it effectively, and you don't end up having to give that load back.
Yeah, I mean, I think some of the things with AI that people have kind of turned me on to, right? And I've been watching, for some reason, I got like really deep down a rabbit hole of like YouTube documentaries about like computer things, and maybe some of the ways that they're used fraudulently by like some prolific cases. And as I see the tech advancing, you see the same thing, right? Is one person can get a lot more done, or a team of 2 or 3 with the help of AI. That could have taken 25, 35 people teams. It's just a lot more efficient, and like you said, it sometimes can give you that answer to things that you couldn't find in the code, et cetera, et cetera. And I think it's just the efficiency to the teams, and obviously to the companies that leverage it is kind of unmatched.
Absolutely. Like I talk to AI, or I talk to ChatGPT all the time. I do, man. I do. I ask it all sorts of questions about what I'm building. I ask it about LinkedIn posts. I ask it strategy, literally like business strategy of like, hey, here's the situation where my company is at right now. What do you think? What do you think I should do? And it's like, it's amazing to talk to. It's, I don't know, incredible to me.
I just like the passion, right? Like I'm young, obviously, but and I love tech. Don't get me wrong, I love tech, love like computers, all this kind of stuff. But once AI started kind of come out, I mean, I'll admit that like I've used ChatGPT or some form of AI like that, like maybe like 6 or 7 times in my entire life. And then like I go over to my editor's house, and this guy's like constant, and like I see how powerful it is. He's like, make me this list, create me this scene. What do you think about this idea? How do we shoot this scene? And like it's so helpful. And for some reason, I have this like disdain in my heart for AI, which is like not a good thing. And you definitely
By the way, let's talk about that, because that's an emotion I feel too. It's two things can be true. I'm scared of AI.
Yeah.
Right. Like I am scared. Like let's be very real. I am scared of it. I'm scared of what it could do, to my job. I'm scared of what it could do for society. I don't know. There's a bunch of fears, and I'm like, it's a battle I have to fight like weekly. It's just like, it's a new technology. Just use it, like, because at the end of the day, it does make my life better. And maybe we can hold off the societal comments because you really,
I mean, this is my thing with it, right? Is like you have to leverage it if you don't want to fall behind in business.
Yes.
It's akin to the
I think
Netflix
so.
blockbuster battle. Like you either are going to learn how to use it or you're going to get left behind.
Yes, I think that's
as far as the society thing, all I'll say is people are not worried about this AI. And I'm not worried about these AI bots that call me. I'm not worried about this chat GPT. But like 2 to 5 years, 7 years, I don't know, man. That's the conversations that start to worry me. Like,
yeah. We'll see. And who knows? Some of that could all be hype,
yeah, maybe maybe this is the height of it. Like.
Yeah, it will. Again, who knows? Like, I'm not an expert in this space. It's not like I design. Like I'm certainly not the experts like to the experts like OpenAI, but I have noticed at least to me, there's been a kind of a plateau. Like it's gotten way better, and then it's mostly kind of plateaued, and so that kind of makes me wonder. I was like, I wonder if this is it. And again, one thing I was super scared about was like, is this going to replace developer jobs and stuff like that? Like that's my own job, right? It's just like the truckers worried about automated, driving, and it's like, yes, it's really good, but you still need a team to manage the exceptions and to like.
It was the best LinkedIn post, man. I made a LinkedIn post the other day. It didn't even get that much attention, but some of the comments had me laugh. It's so hard. It was like, because I've done a tech demo with AI dispatch like tool that calls brokers as a carrier. And then obviously we've all heard of the broker tool that answers the phone as a broker and just gives the details, which is like much simpler, in my opinion, of a tool to make. But then I talked to the carrier version of that, and it's really a good product. And I made a post like, imagine if like the carrier robot calls the broker robot. And this guy was like, yeah, then we're going to have like the unmanned truck do the load. And that's it. Like that's the industry.
What was the carrier version what you're talking about?
Bubba AI is.
I know him. Tapon's a really good guy.
Bubba AI on the carrier side of automation and AI dispatch blew me away. Love that product. I don't want to talk. I don't know what I can't say about them, but great team, great product, and something that really, I mean, that's the carrier side. That's much more complex. Like you need to know the details. You need to go back to the driver. You got to negotiate the freight rate, right? Like it's not a script as far like the brokerage tool. I feel like is much more simple. It's like this is the details. It's like binary, right? Like this is the details. This is the price. Like do not go over this price. Done. Like that's kind of. But I feel like on the dispatch side, it's a lot more dynamic, man.
Possibly. I think they're going after owner operators right now, as far as I understand it, and so that's it's a little bit simpler situation because you're not like trying to balance a fleet of trucks in some sort of real time. That's actually a product we are working on is automated negotiation. So
let's get through that. Let's go through some features. I mean, before we get into the future stuff and the stuff we're hoping to see. What have you guys dropped in the past, let's call it 3 to 6 months or even more recent than that? New stuff goes.
Two big things really is we've been really just working on automated bidding and making it better and better. There's just like, so much work that can be done there. So I'd say our primary focus right now is building automated bidding technology to let you
I was going to say, I mean, like break it down for somebody who might not even understand. I mean, that sounds very simple, but in the context, I mean, let's
so the idea is, let's say you're a brokerage and let's say that you got a new shipper and you got access to their spot freight. And you're like, hey, I don't want to constantly monitor this. So what I'm going to do instead is I'm going to go hook up Manifold and I'm going to set up a rule. I'm going to say, hey, I want to do green screens rates from $900, whatever, 80% of green screen rates is my rate, because let's say you have really good connections. It's really good built up lane for you. So you're going to say, I'm going to do 80% of green screen rates. And then I want to also set up auto negotiate so that if we get underbid, I want to underbid to a certain amount. and
That's
then
cool.
you
So you can
set up
start high
other
and then just
lanes.
kind of work yourself low automatically with the program.
Exactly. And then you're done. And then you push submit and you start running that rule. And that rule will, every single time a load from that shipper pops up on that lane, it will automatically place a bid for you.
Wow. Yeah, I mean, see, again, that's when we get into like this is the future, right? Because you can now, as a one-person operation, like I imagine in this context, like a split model employee where it's like, they're focused on just selling and quoting, and that's all that they do all day long, just chasing freight, and then they have an ops team that just catches it. And I can just imagine like one sales guy, like one part of that sales team, just like blasting stuff out, being able to quote like a maniac. And then he has like a whole ops team behind him, like 15 people actually finding trucks.
Well, and you get way better at it too, because then you can go look at the history.
Yeah.
Right. And you can be like, okay, what happened? And then sometimes we can tell you like the winning price. And then so you can like really adapt to it. You can be like, okay, let me go adjust these rules. Right. And it's kind of like instead of like bidding on stuff all week, it's like you spend 1 hour on a Friday or Monday getting your rules set up.
And yeah, I can see like that being absolutely ridiculous.
That's like
like a one-man team.
Like their jobs are to bid for a whole week.
Yeah, no, that's crazy. I mean, what else have you guys, that's a release feature you guys are working on that?
Yeah, that's a release feature. Yeah, it's running in production. It's been running for a while in production now. But you keep on adding little features to it. It's, as you tweak it, you try to make the auto negotiation better, so you try to make the classification better. So, you don't bid on the incorrect freight. So there's all these like small tweaks that we're ever improving on it. We just added, a feature I just added last night was an audit history. So you can track, people were changing these automated bidding rules, and then they were kind of losing track. They're like, oh, I added a new shipper to this automated rule. And then, they would kind of maybe not know exactly what the rule set were, the evolution. So now you can see the whole history of like the changes and who changed it. And then you can see like, if we go bid on a shipment, you can go see what the automated bidding rule was set up. So it's like a full audit history. So you really understand.
Yeah. I mean, it's cool, right? Because we were just talking about how things get lost, things get misplaced. And I mean, you guys are aggregating the spot place to bid on the freight. And you guys are also leaving you a database for the user to go back to and to see the patterns, to see where they lost freight, why they lost freight. And it's an aggregation now also of your entire spot bidding process on the back end.
Yeah, exactly. So so that we've been working on that a lot. The other thing we've been really focused on for carriers is what we are calling like a network balance map, and that is like helping them set up. A carrier, especially larger carriers, they end up with these different regions, right, where they have a terminal, or they're trying to go build up their lane density on. And so what will happen is they'll be like, hey, I got 10 extra trucks in the Dallas region right now. And I need 10 extra loads, or I might be down 5 trucks in the LA region, right? I need 5 trucks in that because I have more loads than I can take. So overlaying that like over a map of the US and letting them specify their own regions, and then working with them that to like go help them go bid on spot freight based on that network balance.
No, of course. I mean, where have you guys found the most success? Who's your ideal customer? Large brokerages, small brokerages, everything in between?
Yeah.
I mean, who are you guys kind of built for?
Typically, I would say medium-sized brokers and above, and medium-sized carriers and above. And I think our sweet spot, or people that have loved us most, is larger carriers that also have a brokerage side.
Yeah, asset-based brokerages would definitely get a kick out of it. I mean, what are you guys trying? I mean, what's next for Manifold? Obviously, you guys already established company, established product. What is in the works? What are you guys, kind of focused on in the future?
Yeah. I would say, kind of continue to build out the bidding automation workflows, making that more robust, making it more bulletproof. That is a huge thing. Always building new integrations, right? There's thousands of more integrations to go build. So that's going to be another big another big thing as well.
I can't even tell you how refreshing it is to hear somebody finally say, like, our main thing in the future is to just keep improving what we've done and not being like, we're going to go build like a TMS or like, we're going to focus on like some other stuff and other things. And I think a lot of companies get lost in that sense where, they have something that works and then they just want to like be the jack of all trades. They want to be like the Swiss Army tool. And it's like, man, like you do one thing well, like why don't you just keep doing that thing and keep trying to do that better?
I'm a big believer. It's always something that stuck with me at Convoy. One of the things I think we could have done better was being a little bit more focused. On focus on one thing, doing it really, really well. And I'm not saying we'll never move on or we may not expand from, spot bid automation and kind of aggregation. I want to make it really, really good, right? Like I want like the no churn and having customers really like us is extremely important to me. It's like, it's also kind of how I do business, right? I just, I'm not like the best salesperson, that goes around and is like, calling people and trying to like fill up my calendar with demo meetings. Like the person I want to do, and luckily is just make sure we have like a rock solid product for our customers and they're really using it and they're getting all the value. So I'd rather go, continue to work with existing customers, and therefore actually most of our growth is all just word to mouth. Like they just go like, oh, I heard so and so said that you were pretty great. Let's go talk. And I'm like, awesome. And it's actually I've been extremely fortunate. I'm really grateful to our customers that they've hooked us up like that, because I mostly don't have to do any other marketing or outreach. Like just whenever I'm like, oh wow, like it'd be good to get another customer in, like another one shows up and I'm like, oh, perfect. Like
on your door.
How fortuitous. Like I feel like the luckiest person ever.
No, it's funny because I use that sales pitch, when I'm hiring people for my office out here. I'm like, listen, we've hired like 18 people. Nobody's ever quit one time. Like we've never had one person quit, bro. And that's like my sales pitch to every person that thinks about like working. I'm like, listen, nobody's ever quit here. Not one person has ever quit ever. And I think that's like a true testament to when you're building something like worthwhile and when you're taking pride in what you do, right?
Yeah.
Because obviously there's more customers out there, but I mean, taking care of what you have. And like you said, look, you take care of your current customers, they tell their friend who tells their friend. And I've always been a believer in that too, right? Where scaling isn't always the important part. It's just having a good product and people will come to that product eventually.
Yeah. And I think it will also naturally come, right? I think some people scale too fast because they're excited, right? And then the scale before the product's ready. Like I can tell you as an engineer, like, if all of a sudden we 10x, we couldn't support all those customers well. And I guarantee we'd have like a 50%, we'd have a huge churn and people would be frustrated and things would break. Like, and so versus.
Oh yeah, we had that same conversation with Carrier Defender. We were like, let's be careful with how we market because we weren't in a position to catch what could have possibly happened. And then like, you build up your SOPs, you build up your support and you're like, okay, like let's maybe start dabbling. Like, because I had that same frustration, right? Where I was like, listen, if we get 50 cases that come across our desk tomorrow and we can't handle that, all we're going to do is harm our reputation because we couldn't take care of the customers that wanted to use us. I was in exactly the same boat as you. And like you said, I think it's just working on what works and having your current clients taken care of. And like you said, every time, like, hey, I think we could catch something, and then it just kind of like appears when it needs to.
Yeah. How does Carrier Defender work? Like, so is it kind of like like I have a case, you bring it to Carrier Defender and they help you on that one case? Is that?
Yeah. Like you have a false report or like some type of discrepancy with a brokerage, you would come to us on a per case basis. And that's typically how it works. Like one case.
Is it in some ways, is it like a legal services that are packaged up nicely or?
I mean, we don't use the term legal service. We're not in any type of way, anything legally. We're obviously affiliated with a law firm in that sense, partnership, but no, Carrier Defender is not anything to do. I have to say this just so Dan doesn't watch us back.
Oh, sure. Yeah, that's fine.
We're not a legal service. We're never going to be a legal service.
Got it.
We're just trying to help the carrier. We're just a third party. We're an advocate for carriers.
Gotcha. So could you explain? I would love to learn. Like, can you just
Yeah, so basically, like, imagine you're a carrier, right?
Yeah.
And you have some type of an issue with a broker. I'll use a less common example. Like, let's say the broker owes you $800. They didn't want to pay you. There's some discrepancy in the
Yeah.
payment. And then, the broker gets mad and they're like, hey, I don't ever want to work with you. Then you could call us and we would work out some type of a rate for that situation. And then we would approach the brokerage and say, hey, look, like, this is the situation. Can we find some type of an agreement where, like, you either pay them or like you start working with them, like something like that, right?
Yeah.
Obviously, our biggest thing is the false reports. That's obviously our bread and butter. You end up with a bad online review. You come to us, you explain to us why it's false, what happened on your side, provide your documents. And if we think, and that's the thing. So I got into some heat the other week on LinkedIn where I was kind of like bashing carriers in a general way, or like generalizing spot market carriers. And people are like, well, you work at Carrier Defender. Like, shouldn't you defend carriers? Like, I defend every carrier that I believe to be right. And we skip a lot of cases. There's a lot of fraud there. There's a lot of things that, if a carrier comes to me and I think they might be something going on with them, we just pass all of that stuff because we're not in the business to help fraudulent carriers or to help any type of people not doing the correct business, right? So it's a lot of passing, it's a lot of safety, and it's our reputation. We want to help the good people, not obviously the bad actors.
Yeah, I hear. I think that makes sense. Also, it kind of helps you. You have to. It seems like you have to balance this. Your reputation with both brokers and carriers.
Right? Yeah, I mean that's the thing. Like, that's my passion, right? Like, I was a carrier most of my career. My passion's on the carrier side. My passion is definitely on knowing my rights as a carrier and knowing carriers' rights for themselves. And that this company helped me stay on the carrier side, helped me stay on the side where I'm interested in and the side where my heart's at, right? Obviously, I love brokerage. I wouldn't trade my job that I have now for the world. But Carrier Defender allows me back into the carrier life. It allows me back into that side of things. And especially, when you get like an owner up and he calls you, and this guy's like borderline crying because he got a bad report. It's destroying his business. And you're able to help that carrier get back on the road. That's just such a good feeling. And especially when the brokerage understands, like, hey, like, this is, maybe I abused the system a little, that it's a little too harsh. Sure. It's a really fun company to be a part of.
When you reach out to the brokers, do you normally talk to the same person that put the thing on, the notice on the carrier, or is it just else?
Typically we would ask the carrier who to deal with, or if it's a report, we would technically deal with like whoever posted it. But it's a gray area. Obviously, some people might watch this back that are going to be upset with what we're doing, but I think defending carriers, I think fighting for people's rights to do business.
Wait, well, how is it a gray area?
Well, I mean, obviously there's certain people that are upset with the fact that, they have a service and we're technically, going after their customers for abusing that service. And unfortunately, I'll always stand up for what's right. And those people can just kind of stay mad at us. I mean, we're just trying to help people out that were wrong in the business. I'm pretty sure that's like the most normal thing you could do.
Very interesting. Yeah, it seems like not a very. It does not. I would never have thought what you're doing is controversial. Like, I thought it was like pretty much just like bad reviews.
No, or just a third party, like, because things are emotional in trucking, right? Like, the broker's upset, the carrier's upset, and then we get to come in like calm. We're a third party, like, we're not objectively on anybody's side here. We're just trying to like resolve some tension in the industry, and I mean, that's all it really is.
You're like mediators.
Yeah, professional mediation. It's a lot of diffusing, and on occasion, some brokerage will do something so egregious that like I just can't help myself. Like, I call them, like, guys, come on. Like, this is just not how, like, I'm on the broker side, I was on the carrier side. Like, I understand both sides of this argument. Like, I understand where you're coming from, where they're coming from, but like, come on, guys. Like, this is just trucking. Like, guys gonna sometimes break down. Like, so things are just gonna happen sometimes. Like,
It happens. Shit happens.
Let's do some closing stuff on Manifold. Thank you for asking our Carrier Defender. I haven't really had much opportunity to speak about it. Obviously, it's like I said, we've done some additions and
unscripted. I just was curious. I don't know. Plus, it's like how much I talk about Manifold all the time. I get.
Well, I love it. Like I said, we obviously tried to stay the Carrier Defender, kind of stay off the marketing a bit as we were kind of getting our feet on the ground and sort of figuring out our processes. But we're up and running, and you're gonna start to see a lot more Carrier Defender in your face, man.
Very cool. Love it. Want to see it.
Let's do some closing stuff on Manifold, man. Obviously, a better way to spot bid. What would you say you guys are most happy about in the past year, and what do you look forward to most in the next year?
Definitely just we're happiest about the impact we've made on our customers, for sure. That's what I most focus about. Because it's what's sustainable. You know what I mean? You can build whatever you want, but if it's not making an impact on your customers, you're kind of running on borrowed time. So definitely there's a numerous examples of like, hey, we weren't bidding on the shipper before, but now we're bidding on a bunch of their freight, or hey, look at this. You can see all of a sudden we've drastically increased their win rate, or during the holiday season, like Christmas, New Year's, like seeing massive spikes where they never would have been able to bid on all that spot freight, you know what I mean, just manually.
Wow.
And we built an automation and we built a negotiation, and we're like seeing, seriously, there's these examples where we'd put like our initial bid for $1,000, and they'd be like, you're still bid rank 1. And then we would be like, okay, well, let's go. This is all the automated system going. Let's go try 1,100. Let's go try 1,300. And all of a sudden, we've made them an additional $500 on a load. And this is, by the way, this is 6 or 3 months ago. $500 on a load that they otherwise wouldn't have gotten. During these more peak times. Like, that's like awesome.
Yeah, that's crazy. That's actually crazy. I just watched the YouTube video for the first time about high intensity trading or something like that.
Yeah.
High volume trading. And like, it's like the same principle. Like you can just do so much more at the same time.
Yes. So I'm just really, really excited about that. And then what am I looking forward to most? I am looking forward to most, I feel like I've been fighting. I'll never stop fighting, but like it's this, ever since I started the company beginning of last year with Andrew, we've been constantly just like on this grind of, some months you don't get it, we don't get a new customer or something like that, but we're finally starting to see a steady drip of customers come in, a goods, just the right amount. And so I'm definitely looking forward to, getting in a place where we control our own destiny. And what I mean by that is we can become profitable, right? So if we want to become profitable, we can become profitable. And it's kind of our choice whether we raise more money and try to, go crazy big, or we choose our destination. Versus, if you have no hope of being profitable in the near term future, you kind of have no choice. You have to raise more money, or you have to kind of fold. And so I see that trajectory, and I think we'll hit that mark by end of this year, and that just makes me just over the moon excited.
Yeah, I mean, I can't even imagine the feeling of building something from scratch, basically working on it for that long. Like I just can't even imagine those emotions, right? Because when we did asset base, let's look at asset base, man. I'm going to Mexico next week to do some filming. We were just in Macedonia. Like I look back at it. Like I was sitting in my bedroom with a webcam, like a $40 webcam in my face a year or two ago. And like now there's like the progression, like watching it grow. But like, that's the thing. It's not like that was like so expensive venture to get to. You look at Carrier Defender, our expenses are pretty minimal. So I've never had to be a part of a company that needed a lot to get started. And obviously you guys, the sweat equity I'm imagining you guys put into this is just like, you don't want to think about that part,
But still, nonetheless, you understand that journey, right? And it's like you just feel so accomplished.
Like watching your baby grow, watching something that you love and something that you like put so much into, watching it get to a point where it's doing its own thing. I mean, that's just a feeling that, like, anybody who ever thinks that they might want to start doing something, like whatever it is, start a podcast, make a company, like sew some shirts, like whatever it is. Like you just start, because day 1 to day 100 to day 1, year 1, year 2, like you'll amaze yourself how far you can get.
Yeah, it's so true. You just gotta start. You just gotta start. It's I wish I would have started 5 years before I did. What are you gonna do though? Woulda, coulda, shoulda. Doesn't care. I'm in it now. I'm loving it. I could not think of a better way to spend my life right now. Like, loving digging in with the customers we work with, loving like working with the team, Mac and Andrew. Like,
I love seeing you guys moving around, seeing you guys at the events. I mean, hearing from people like, "Hey, I met the Manifold people." Like, like they're cool.
It is. I love that is actually something definitely worth spending some time on, is how much fun the carrier and logistics community is. Like, I've started going. I go to conferences all the time now, and you often see the same people. You start to build true friendships with them. And
Yeah.
I look forward to it. I'm like, oh hell yeah! Like I get to go see them. And so that's been real. That's
No,
been
that
very
feeling is
rewarding.
unmatched, man. Like I've been friends with people on LinkedIn for like 2, 3, 4 years, and like I just see them in real life now. I'm like, holy,
Yeah.
like it's like a whole different thing. Like, you're in the same
sure.
room, you're like, actual people, humans
Yeah.
in the same place. You're not just like these like robot versions of yourselves. And meeting people in real life is a game changer in logistics.
Totally agree.
All right, man. I think that's going to be a good place to leave it. I'm a little sick. I don't want to keep coughing and just dying on this show. So I appreciate you joining me. If you want any closing statements on Manifold,
Nah. Other than come talk to us if you're interested. And thank you so much, Alex, for having me on the show. It was really great.
Hey, we're going to hit actually just before you get out of here. Give me 2 more minutes, unless you already did it. Okay, yeah. Let's just run through it one more time. I haven't asked somebody in a while. I got like the itch to go through chicken wing choices one more time. Let's go drums or flats on chicken wings.
Oh, drums.
Drums, ranch or blue cheese on the dipping sauce.
Blue cheese.
Nice. Okay. And breaded or non-breaded?
I'm a breaded guy.
All right. 3 out of 3. Now you can get out of here. Thank you for joining me, Oliver. I look forward to seeing what you guys accomplish in the next 6 to 12 months.
All right. Thank you so much, Alex. Take care.
No worries. That's going to be a wrap on episode 16. I'm really happy to be back in the podcast seat. Really looking forward to keeping things going. Happy to be joined by Oliver. Love Manifold. If you ever need to check out a better way to spot freight, hit up Manifold, and I'll see you guys next Wednesday.